Hello, I'm Mark.
Hey, I'm Brian. Back to you.
So when we started this project, our idea was to kind of manifest intangible things like your thoughts, your dreams, and your memories, and give them physical form. The way that we went about this was to use a brain-computer interface that I'm wearing right now. It's called the Muse. It has 4 sensors in the front and 2 behind the ears to collect electrical readings in your brain. We kind of were using the brain waves as sort of this gateway into the unconscious. We used the brain readings that we were getting to generate these 3D shapes that we converted into 3D objects that we 3D printed out as sculptures. You could kind of see 2 of the tests that we did over there. Brian is going to talk a little bit about kind of what we did, sort of working with the BCI initially, looking at brain waves and the software that we wrote, while I sort of demonstrate the software that we wrote.
Okay, so first off, we didn't start out with a Muse. We explored a different technology called OpenBCI, and basically what that is little electrodes, hooked into a little servo-looking thing that you can attach to your head like a real EEG. Turns out with that, you actually have to be very, very still. It's very temperamental, and it's very, very prone to a lot of noise. So in order to get our, it's great for some projects. I think for ours, we gravitated towards something a little bit more user-friendly, like the Muse. And with that, we did find a little bit of, there are other costs to user friendliness. One of the first things we discovered was that the information, while easy to get a hold of, might have been slightly inaccurate. But for our purposes in this for this program, it didn't really matter. So basically, what we did is, in order to work with the data individually, we managed to write software that collects the information over a series of time, dump it out into a CSV file, and then we could work with it on actually generating the structure without dealing with the Muse in real time. So by doing that, we could split into parallel paths. So once we did that, we managed to reconvene, use some software that we wrote to collect the Muse over the OSC protocol, and basically generate this structure as you go in real time. So the software that Mark, did you want to talk about the software itself, or should I feel like you have a better understanding of what this thing is actually doing?
So basically, we ended up using open frameworks, which was new for me. But we basically we ended up using open frameworks because we could develop everything in it. We were listening for messages from the Muse, and then also generating the shape at the same time with it. So what it's doing is basically, it takes a little minute to kick in, but it's taking my relative alpha value, my relative beta value, and my relative gamma value to kind of plot these vertices and generate this shape. Eventually, we were able to take that shape and make 3D forms with it. But we took those shapes and we 3D printed them as a way of kind of like making these objects that could be seen as artifacts of your unconscious. They were, one of the most challenging things was actually 3D printing them out. The shapes that we ended up with were not the most printer friendly, so we ended up having to work with like a really good 3D printer who, it took him 2 weeks, but he was able to kind of print out our designs, and that was because like the facets and the vertices were generated using dreaming brainwaves, so they were sort of random.
This is the first one, and it glows in the dark. Yeah, and this is the augmented one.
But at our table, we have this software set up. If you'd like to have a picture of your brain waves, we can email to you. Please stop by.